My name is Dixon Blyton. I'm doing a video presentation on Greece. This is a part of the global perspectives in the sports industry. Here is a brief overview. It has the longest coastline and is the southernmost country in Europe, which covers an area of 131,957 kilometers squared. The modern state of Greece was founded in 1830 and has a total of 5 modern states known as Athens, Sparta, Corinth, Thebes, and Delphi. Greece has a population of over 10 million people. The capital of Greece is Athens. Athens has hosted various sporting events, which I'll get into in the next slide. The country of Greece is divided into 3 geographical regions known as the mainland, the island, and the Peloponnese, the peninsula south of the mainland. Greece is a member of the European Union, unlike Great Britain, because of Brexit. Here's a sporting overview. Basketball is increasing its popularity in Greece since the 1980s, with the basketball national team winning the European Championships in 1987. However, the main sport is football, as is the most popular sport in the country. Its men's national team went on to play in the first World Cup finals in 1994, with the Greek football clubs having their moderate success in the European competitions, with one of the big clubs, Panathinaikos, reaching the Champions League final back in 1971. And I believe they won it game 2-0. There's a YouTube clip, there are 3 YouTube clips, but I don't want to make this presentation long, so I'm only going to show 2. So Greece went on to have a great year back in 2004 with the national football team, winning European Championships back in 2004, and later that same year, Athens hosted the Olympic Games. Well, 3 years later, that same city hosted the Champions League final, which is 2007. Other notable sports include hiking, climbing, skiing, field hockey, baseball, and cricket. Despite the sporting success that Greece has in sports, the nation has struggled to combat violence and hooliganism in sport, just like other countries around the world. The first topic will focus on the government policy towards sport, specifically regarding sport-related violence. The second topic will focus on sports governance and the governmental issues between the Greek government and the fans, which will be discussed later on. We now look at the violence in Greek football. So the first incident was recorded all the way back in June 1930 after the match between Aris Thessaloniki, who were the home team, and Panathinaikos, who were the away team. While Panathinaikos fans were arriving at the port of Piraeus from Thessaloniki, rival Olympiacos fans had not forgotten about the team's 8-2 loss from Panathinaikos, and because of that, Olympiacos fans had started to attack the Panathinaikos fans. Since that incident, many more incidents between fans were recorded, either before, during, or after the games, especially those involving Aris and PAOK supporters. This would last until the 15th of September 2014, where fans clashed in the 75th minute during the third division match in Nea Anikalassos, which forced the referee to stop the game. While that was happening, a 45-year-old football fan had suffered a severe head injury, which took him to a hospital, where he died 2 weeks later. That would be the last known incident between fans for at least 8 years, until most recently a 19-year-old football fan was attacked and killed by rival supporters in a match between Aris and PAOK. This latest serious incident happened very recently in northern Greece, where a number of PAOK fans attacked this 19-year-old Aris fan in a city and fatally injured him. This was considered to be a turning point for the Greek government, who had decided to tighten the rules to combat violence. The Prime Minister soon held a cabinet meeting straight after this murder, who then decided to strengthen the rules on the operation of fan clubs and decided as well to deepen the police checks, as the government spokesperson announced, whilst he added that tackling violence among young football fans is an obligation to the Greek society and younger generations, and that everyone expected to contribute to fight against sports violence. Since then, 9 individuals at least have been arrested over the murder of Alkis. Soon, the Greek government held a session at the Greek Parliament with lawmakers and MPs approving a bill targeting violence in sport. After this recent tragic event, the government had taken a number of measures to tackle hooliganism, which included tougher fan club rules and police checks, a ban for visiting fans from turning up to matches for the time being, and changes to the penal code, resulting in harsher punishments for violent actions and longer sentences in the future. Since the killing of this 19-year-old fan, the Greek government imposed a crackdown and longer prison sentences regarding hardcore hooliganism. However, there is still a skepticism surrounding these measures amongst fans and the media. Unfortunately for the city of Thessaloniki alone, the S-90-year-old's death was the third one in a 3-year time span, resulting in fan violence. The government responded with a shutdown on all sports team fan clubs until the 31st of July, whilst increasing the maximum sentence from 6 months to 5 years. These law measures was voted on the 9th of March, which is a good start if you want to clamp down on fan violence. The second topic this video presentation will cover refers to sports governance in Greece. And more specifically, we'll be discussing the National Sports Federation operations, especially considering the ongoing austerity. We'll discuss the federation's structure and organization, as well as the power. We'll discuss the effects of austerity in Greek sport federations, the institutional problems with sport federations, and the political corruption within Greece. So the sport industry in Greece establishes a comparatively small segment of the overall economy. Upon looking into the European study on sport as economic activity, the share of sport relative value added for Greece was 1% of the precise definition of sport and 1.44 for the fast definition of sport, and a further 0.36 for the numerical definition of sport, which is lower than the EU average. The Greek sport governing system suffers from a lack of the three things below, which are detailed policy establishment by the government, a strategic approach to the planning and advancement of elite mass participation and recreational sports, and the performance evaluation for public funding tactics. The sport federation in Greece is designed to be neither solely private nor solely public because of the missing principle that would lead us to such a distinction. The private nature of the sport federation can be decisive by the fact that it is formed by an embodiment of private individuals and it conveys private power. It deals with the economic affairs of individuals and it serves private sport investments and the development of free physical cultivation of individuals. The federation is established by an embodiment for each sport according to the law. It compromises not only with union sports, but also with sport on a domestic level. It also forms domestic groups of athletes which, although deriving from unions, they do not serve many for them. These athletes take part in global meetings with the approval of the respective minister. They also perform in the sports for the country through the Federation, which is the only sport agent on that level, both within and outside the state borders. Therefore, the National Sport Federation is culpable for national and state sports. The Federation operates or has to operate in a way that serves the interests of the public. Consequently, according to the Constitution, the state needs to offer insurance to the Federation by funding it, observe its legality and expediency, and ensure that it survives in a way the Federation can turn it into a unit with public authority. Critics have accused the government of talking tough, and when it comes to taking any meaningful action, they have backed away and avoid facing up to the opposition. Greek football has faced many problems for a long time, especially when it comes to fan violence, as already mentioned. Also, there are problems with match fixing, bribery of referees and players. Olympiacos, based in Athens, and PAOK, based in Thessaloniki, are two of the biggest government problems, especially regarding their respective owners. And the current drama between the owners started when the government ruled that PAOK and Xanthi should be relegated for breaking the rules for owning more than one club. The backlash eventually forced Makis Voridis to leave the gathering with farmers in northern Greece in a fear for his own security. Another recent Greek football scandal took place after the car of a judge who was in charge of a case that involves officials from the Hellenic Football Federation was smashed with a bar. 3 members of the HFF were accused of breaking laws after waiving licensing regulations for 10 clubs in the Super League 2, the second tier of Greek football. But in his distressed interest, the judge put in charge of this case saw his own car vandalized outside his house. According to news outlets, the vandalism happened just a few hours after he was appointed. He is also reported to have quit his job almost with immediate effect. A statement by the Minister of Sports said that the Greek government is cooperating with UEFA President Alexander Severin and Greg Clark, FIFA's former vice president, envisioning a transparent new era for the sport in the country. Other major reports in Greece claim that football is governed by people who do not have any limits, adding that laws do not exist. The statute is being constantly violated. So do HFF regulations. We now move on to tourism in Greece, which links to the 2004 Olympic Games, as mentioned earlier. This would have helped Greece gain more tourists after hosting the 2004 Olympics, but unfortunately, this was not the case as Athens was considered to be an opportunity to address the issues that were damaged for many years. The image of tourism of the wider Athens area was accepted to be the host and hospitality for both athletes and gymnasts taking part in the Olympic Games in 2004. Athens had always been an attraction for a number of different tourists, including the multitude and the cultural laws. It was not before the 2004 Olympics that Athens was able to offer a very high level of hospitality services to their visitors, including those who wanted to remain in Athens for whatever reason they have for their long-term future. After nearly 18 years from the Olympic Games in Athens, Greece has lost a great chance to further develop as a sports tourism destination. Despite, however, hosting the Champions League final back in 2007, it can be that Greece has several potentials. However, till now, Greece was not able to take advantage of those existing opportunities. Therefore, there is still a lot of work that needs to be done about the current situation at hand. To conclude this, the capital city of Greece, known as Athens, is the oldest capital in Europe. It hosted major sporting events such as the 2004 Olympic Games and the 2007 Champions League final. 2004 was a great year for Greece, as it didn't just host the Olympics, they also won the same year's European Championships. Since 2004, though, Greece has struggled to take advantage of the opportunities they had. We could say that hooliganism had played its part, a huge one in fact, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done about this. And here are the references that I found, including the YouTube videos. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I apologize if I said that I was going to play the YouTube videos earlier on, but I then realized that it'll probably be too long. I didn't want to take your time. Too much of your time, in fact. So yeah, thank you for listening.